Hi, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I am sharing a not too shabby shop design team project featuring the Sprinkled with Love stamp set. This is new to the Not Too Shabby Shop. It's part of the January release. Here are the products that I'm using. I'm using that Sprinkled with Love, the cupcake, and the Sprinkled with Love sentiment. The wonky stitched mini slimline will be available shortly in the Not Too Shabby Shop. I am using the largest and the next size down of those rectangles for my mini slimline card. Limoncello, Be Mine, and Mardi Gras are the colors from Carnival Ink. Stardust Stickles, Crescent Creations, Mixed Heart Clay Bits, and a gel pen. Here I have used the smaller of the two wonky stitched rectangles, and I have cut it out using a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I'm doing the ink blending with the limoncello onto this card panel. I find that the Carnival inks really do blend well on this cardstock. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit brighter. I am always ready for spring once Christmas has passed, so I love the bright colors, and I tire of the red and pink from Valentine's Day. I want something just a little bit different. Spring and summer are my two favorite seasons, so I am anxiously awaiting them, although it's been a beautiful 70-degree day these past 3 days, and that has made me very, very happy. I love that vitamin D. When you add that Be Mine, which was the pink color over the green, you're going to get that little bit of purple, so I intensified that a little bit. Here's one of the products that I didn't share. This is called Leopard print from Catherine. I just used my distress sprayer and sprayed some water through that, and then I dried my panel. I brought in a larger panel that is Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I did use that same wonky stitched rectangle, just as I said, in the larger die. I'm adding some limoncello to this piece of cupcake paper, and I've added some double-sided adhesive to the back of that leopard print panel and centered it onto my wonky stitched larger base. Here I'm going to be doing a little bit of Copic coloring. I will be coloring on Copic Express-It paper. I did stamp the top portion of my cupcake out using Gina K Designs Jet Black Amalgam ink, and I will be using yellows, greens, and kind of a magenta pink color. For the yellows, I'm using Y2 and Y4, but I will find out that I don't like the depth that I'm getting, so I will bring in a Y18. For the greens, I use G2, G5, and then I will end up not liking that two-color blend and bring in a third color, which is going to be the G7. I go around the perimeter of the layer of the cupcake, and then with my darkest color, and then I will fill it in using my lighter color. Here's where I see that I don't like the contrast, so I'm going to add a little bit more depth to the left and the right side, and I will go around that perimeter one more time and blend it out using the G2. For the pink color, I only need a two-color blend because it does blend and give me the contrast that I'm looking for. I use RV66 and RV63. I'll leave the top of my cupcake blank because I'm not sure if I want to do the yellow on the top. I wasn't sure where I was going to place it and whether or not it was going to blend in too much with the limoncello that I have as my top color on this panel. This is going to be a side folding mini slimline. My card base is going to be paper tray ink paper, and I will have it linked in the description box below along with affiliate links. When you click on those affiliate links, I do receive a small commission, and it does help keep my channel going. So thank you in advance for those of you that click those links today and for those that have clicked them in the past. You saw that I did have the cupcake wrapper. I initially was going to do a different project, so I did paper piece that using some watercolor Wishes paper from Lawn Fawn. I used the yellow. I stamped it out using hickory smoke ink, and I fussy cut the little cupcake wrapper out, and then decided that the project that I was going to use it on, I didn't like where it was going, and I thought that I could still use that piece, and the other pieces that I didn't like, I could use them on another project. So don't throw away those projects that just aren't working out. Keep those pieces and they will come in handy later on. Here's where I'm trying to determine whether or not I can add that yellow without it falling too much into the background, and I decide yes I can. I bring in that Y18. So each of the layers, the top layers of the cupcake, the top two have sprinkles on them, and then the yellow layer has hearts. So the yellow layer right here has hearts. I'm going to end up coloring in those hearts using the RV63. On the pink layer, I use the G7 for my sprinkles, and then for the very top layer, I'm going to use the RV66. I will add double-sided foam tape to the back of my cupcake once I finish coloring this up and paper piecing the other piece on. So here's where I'm adding that little bit of sprinkle color. I love the way this cupcake fits onto the mini Slimlines. If you haven't used a mini Slimline or you are afraid of the larger Slimlines, these are a great way to jump into the Slimline craze. I think that this is fantastic for creating a focal point. As I said, this cupcake right here is going to be the center stage. It's narrow enough that I don't have a lot of room on either side, so it takes up a lot of the real estate there. And then I can just add a sentiment and it creates a quick and easy card. I love that about the mini. There's a lot of smaller images that you can use on it that can take center stage instead of having to add a lot to it. So I wanted to intensify the creases in the cupcake wrapper, so I went down all of the gray lines and then I went around the top folds of the cupcake and around the bottom. And then I'm going to use my pink markers. I started with an RV00 and then I brought in an RV81 looking for a little bit of contrast. I'm finding that I'm not getting enough contrast, and I decide, you know what, I'm just going to color the whole thing with this one color, and then I'm going to use my gel pen to add a little bit more interest to that layer rather than doing a lot of shading. I'm going to glue my wrapper to my cupcake, and then I'll add that double-sided foam tape. I do use the X-Fasten tape from Amazon, and I find that the release paper is it has a lot of static like on it. It sticks to everything, so you're going to see that I will have a piece of it stick to my cupcake when I lay it down. I did use my Memento Tuxedo Black ink to go around the edges. Here I'm stamping using the Catherine Pooler Be Mine. I'm going to stamp it 3 times. You can heat emboss with this. I like to get that little bit of depth with clear embossing powder. So I'll stamp it 3 times and then I'll run that Hero Arts white embossing powder over the top of that. And I do get a little bit of pink onto right above where that sprinkled is. I try to use my Tombow Mono Sand Eraser. It's not going to work. I'm working carefully trying to keep that embossing powder over that pink area because I don't want to, once I have that embossing powder over that, then I'm not going to be able to fix it, or what I think I'm doing to fix it. So here's where the sand eraser comes in. Then I'll bring my white gel pen and go over it with my white gel pen. I still don't like it, so those sprinkles are going to end up covering it up. I'm using my Wagner heat tool to heat the embossing powder, And here is that card base. For these mini slimlines that are from Cat Scrappiness, I do find that a 3.5 by 6 is the perfect size card base to give yourself a little bit of a border around the edges of that. As I said, Jamie will be having the Cat Scrappiness slimlines in her shop shortly. They're not available just yet. They're on their way. Here's where I've added that foam tape to the top of my cupcake. You can see that release paper I was talking about. It's crazy. It just sticks. I'm going to probably switch out. I love the thickness of this foam tape, so I really hate to switch to something else. It's a little bit thicker than the Scotch, and I really like that because it makes easy shaker cards, but I don't like the release paper. Here's where I'm adding that Stardust Stickles. I love a lot of sparkle and shine on my cards, so I'm adding that. After it's dried, I'm going to add these little conversation hearts. Crescent Creations will be linked in the description box below. Neha does sell these little clay pieces and sequins, as well as I believe she is going to be carrying honeybee stamps as well. So stamps and dies. Make sure that you take a look at her little sprinkle collection because she has a lot of really fun pieces. I will link a video at the end of this video that shares another project that I used using some of her gems. I'm using my art glitter glue and my Cat Scrappiness embellishment tool to pick up my little hearts, but because they're clay, they don't cling quite as much as some of the other embellishments that I use do. So it takes a little bit more time to pick it up. I'm going to add some accents using my white gel pen. I'm going to go around the top of the cupcake in different areas of the lines. I'm not going to do a straight line on each of those crevices. I am going to place my gel pen in different places. As I said, I wanted to add some more interest to my cupcake, so I do end up adding some gel pen to that. I want to thank you so much for watching today. Head over to the Not Too Shabby shop. I will have it linked in the description box below. Jamie does offer a 10% discount on her products, so use the coupon code Jamie for 10% off. And until next time, have a fantastic day.